Hello YouTube and welcome to my review of this $5 IBM Lenovo Thinkcentre, 10 other freaking names for this thing computer that I picked up. It's a Pentium 4 hyper-threading, as you can tell here. Let me zoom in real quick. Or should I say focus in. Come on. You could do it. There you go. And designed for Windows XP, actually Windows XP Pro, believe it or not. It still does have the CD key on there, which is what I reinstalled. And I picked this up at Goodwill, and it actually had a monitor on it at the time, which unfortunately didn't work. It was a touchscreen monitor, and they were using it for a register, it looked like. Had the register component under it. And of course, none of those components worked. It had a card reader and everything. And I'm guessing one of those components failed, or they upgraded and they just decided, hey, let's just toss it all and get completely new components. Well, luckily for me, everything works still. Had to put a new hard drive in it, put a little extra RAM in there, not too much, and now it's ready to go. So let's take a look here at what we've got, and try to get the light just right here. I'm sorry for the lighting, but that's the best I can do for now. It's got a power cord, or I'm sorry, a power button there, and of course 2 LEDs for power and loading, a DVD/CD drive, which I believe is read-only. You've got microphone and headphone jack there. The microphone's the pink and the headphone is the green, obviously. 2 USB ports on the front, which is always nice. And of course you got a sticker here that lets you know that it is a model 8104-E2U and the serial number for this unit. Let's go ahead and take it and flip it around here. Excuse me for just a sec here, guys. Sorry about that. On the back you can see our power supply. Again, the product ID and serial number are there as well. It's got a TV tuner card, which is kind of interesting. It has the old analog card in there, which is what this is here. And unfortunately, that doesn't work anymore. You can't pick up channels from analog. I mean, you can, but it's not mainstream TV anymore. It's just weird crap. The US went all digital a while back, so unfortunately that's not too useful. But what is useful for some people is it has an FM input, which is kind of interesting. Microphone, S-video, and composite. So technically you could like record games off of this, and S-video is not all that common of a port to find to record off of, so this could be actually useful. Who knows? I don't even have an S-video recording on my HD PVR. I have composite, component, and HDMI, but no S-video. So anyway, moving right along here. We have 4 USB ports on the back, audio in and out, Ethernet, pretty standard fare here, you know, your printer port, serial port, VGA for the onboard graphics, and PS2 mouse and keyboard. And of course you got a fan in there to blow the hot air out the back. So let's go ahead and open this up. Let me turn this around here. Sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed here. There we go. And it just opens up like that. You can see it's got a little diagram on there that tells you what you can do, how you can lift it up and out. Everything in this thing is really neat. I think it would be real easy to work on, and so far it's been real. I haven't really done much. I just pulled the hard drive out and put my own in there. So this is a 500 gig hard drive. It's a Western Digital green. I actually pulled this out of a working DirecTV recording box, an HD PVR, or not HD PVR, HD DVR. From DirecTV that I found at like a Savers or a Goodwill or something. It works great. And I've gotten many hard drives this way, guys. If you see those and you get the right ones, you can get anything from 500 gigabytes all the way up to 1 terabyte. I found a couple 1 terabyte drives doing that. And for $5, I don't know how much it would be in your area, but my area it's anywhere from $5 to $15 for those units. And you know, that's not a bad deal, considering that those hard drives, in my opinion, always work for me, as long as it's not too old. Anyway, enough of that blabbering on. Let's get moving here. Just lift up here and you can get into the hard drive. You can see the SATA connections here. There's a nice little handle here. Makes it nice and easy. There was one here as well for the DVD drive, but it's so thin and it's brittle from all the heat and just age in general. And I did accidentally snap that when I was trying to pull this out to clean it. So that's kind of unfortunate, but it doesn't really matter too much. You've got a fan in here, and of course your sound, your system speaker basically is all that really is, I think, anyway. Now you know what, that might actually be the, what is that? Let's take a look here. Yeah, I guess it is. I guess that is what it is. Anyhow, we have the TV tuner card here, as you saw before. There's the power supply underneath there, and it's kind of an interesting PCI slot. So as everybody knows, they're up and down, not side to side. So they actually built a custom adapter that allows it to go side to side. And that's what's allowing this card to be in here sideways instead of vertically to make this more compact and easier to use. So kind of cool, I think. And moving right along, we've got 2 RAM sticks. Currently I have 1.5 gigabytes of DDR2 RAM in there. You can see the heatsink. I haven't cleaned that off or really done anything to it. I should probably re-thermal paste that, but honestly, I don't care all that much. As you can see, it's kind of a little dusty back there on that fan. So you've got a fan back there, a tiny little fan here on the CPU, and of course that one that I showed you guys earlier. So I think that's enough for now on the internals. I will get you guys more footage of the actual system in action with the current stuff that's in here. There's really no difference other than RAM from what this was stock. So there's a wee bit of a RAM upgrade, but other than that, everything else is pretty much stock. The hard drive, although different, isn't going to make any difference in terms of speed. In fact, the one that was in it originally may actually be faster than this Western Digital Green. Who knows? But as I said, just give me a sec and I will cut right to the capture footage of the actual system.
Okay guys, so here we have Torchlight being played on the Pentium 4, the Prescott processor, and I have fraps running, and I captured this through the HD PVR so you guys could see the frames per second on each of the games that we're playing, so that you get kind of an idea of what we're looking at. Again, this is all on board. There's no aftermarket video cards or any upgrades of any kind other than 1.5 gigabytes of RAM. In this game, even though the frames were a little lower on this game, it actually ran pretty good, as you'll see here. I forgot that I've got like 3 keyboards for 3 different systems around me, so it took me a second there to figure out which keyboard it was. So I apologize, but anyway, we're starting up Torchlight here, and this is the first time I've ever played this game, so don't expect me to know anything about it. I was just kind of running around. I cast a few spells. That's about it. You know, like I said, I didn't know much about it, so I was just kind of messing around. But as you can see, I do change the settings down to low at some point, but it ranges from about, what, 15 to 20 or so, if that, on, and this is actually high settings for this game. I went down to 14 there. Oh wow, 13, 12, actually went lower. Anyway, this is on, I think, the highest settings for this game, and even though that's a low frames per second, it actually ran fluidly when I was playing it. I didn't have any issues. I could have played that game that way very easily and not had any issue playing it whatsoever. So even though it's an old computer, it can still play certain older games, such as this one, Torchlight. I don't know if it'll run Torchlight 2 or not. I'll have to test that and see. But I do have another computer that I'd like to do a review on. It's an old Dell XPS. I think it's got a Pentium D or something like that, dual core of some kind. A true dual core, not hyper-threading, I don't believe. But we'll get to that a little later. Anyway, you can see here that we're changing the settings. See if we can get a little bit better frame rate. I'm looking at the resolution options there as well. But I decided, yeah, you know what we should probably do is just lower the overall graphics settings so that it'll, you know, it may give us an advantage. So put them both on low, and as you can see right away, there's a frame jump up to, well, it looks like almost 30 there. So playing on a lower frame setting would obviously be a better choice, but again, it's not, I don't know, to me it's not as much fun playing on that lower frames, or I'm sorry, the lower graphics setting. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this game and try the next one. And for whatever reason, I can't get Age of Empires 3 to work at all. The driver for this computer for the sound card is next to impossible to find. I don't know why. I've looked through probably a half a dozen to a dozen websites for the sound driver. I can't find it, and it looks like this is what's causing this game to crash, is the fact that I don't have any sound. I kind of mess around with it a little bit here to try to get it to work. I thought maybe, oh, I'll just leave it there for a little while and it'll be fine, but turns out that wasn't the case. So it basically just crashes and we can't get it to work at all. Okay, next up is going to be Red Alert 2. This is a pretty old game now, so this game should play pretty fluidly, and it did. I didn't play it for very long, but I played it long enough to realize that it wasn't going to have any issues. It wasn't slow, it wasn't having frame problems, none of that. So, oh, that's interesting. Oh, okay, there we go. I must have alt-tabbed out or something. I don't remember. I think one of these games just like literally closed itself for some reason, and it may have been this one, I'm not sure. But I had a game where it just literally closed out for no reason whatsoever. So there might be an issue there. That could be a driver issue. That could be a lot of things. Who knows? But as you can see, I think it runs pretty good. Again, older game, so not too surprising, I don't think. But you know, it's still kind of cool. I mean, a Pentium 4 processor at this point is extremely aged, so you can't really expect much out of it. But I thought I would show at least what the onboard can do. And honestly, for an onboard chip for that era, it's really not that bad. You know, when I was growing up, it's funny because I never really thought about graphics cards until Doom 3, believe it or not. Because by the time I would get around to playing most games, they've already been out for a while, and sometimes years. So I never cared about graphics cards. I was using onboard for the longest time. Because it's just like, oh, well, what the hell, you know, why would I even think about it? Oh, there you go. So it just crashed. And I used to just think, hey, why would I even think about it? There's no point to even worrying about it because the game works. Well, Doom 3 came out and I wanted to play it, and guess what? I couldn't play it unless I bought a video card. So there you go. I will show some system information here. I believe it is the 3.2 gigahertz Prescott processor with 1.5 gigabytes of RAM. I would eventually like to upgrade this to whatever the highest RAM. I want to say it's probably like 4 gigs would be the most that this, there we go. 4 gigs would be the most that this system could do, but yeah, I mean, there's really not much else to say, guys. I know that's not much of a test, but it's what I could do with the little time that I was given. I hope this helps. I hope that if you have this computer, if you have that sound card driver you're looking at right there, let me know, because it's a pain in the ass to find, and I've never found it, so hopefully you guys can. I did find all the other drivers, so if you guys need me to upload those, or if someone's looking for those, let me know. I'd be happy to upload that for you. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next one.